Okay, I think I got my phone set up. Almost ready to get started. Excuse me. We are going to be making some cards today. I've already started these the other day and we're going to try to get them finished up. I'm about to get started here. Just another minute or two. Okay. So actually, before we get started with the stamping, I want to try using this thing. I bought this and it's supposed to help you be able to erase stray pen marks and ink. It is an eraser and it's kind of interesting the way it works. So we're gonna try and see if we can get rid of this mark here that shouldn't be here. This is not working very well. Really doesn't seem to be doing anything at all. But we will try again. No. I don't think that's made any difference at all. I do not think this motorized eraser actually works. No, I think that if we're going to try to save this card, we're going to have to find something to put over that. This, all I think it's doing is tearing itself up and getting these little eraser pieces all over. Other than that, it's not really doing anything at all here. Excuse me. All right, let's move on to something else. So today I'm trying to finish up this card here. And the first thing we're going to need is some cards. So we're going to need 4 of these. These are just pre-made cards, pre-scored. We're just going to fold them. We're going to score them with the bone folder, and then they'll be ready for us to work on. Excuse me. Throat is a little dry this morning. Clean our mat off, get all those little eraser pieces out. I was really hoping that eraser would work because there are many times when I accidentally get a little bit of ink on the cards in places I don't want them. I was hoping that would be able to kind of fix those instead of having to try to hide those stray ink marks, but no, it just did not seem to work. Alright, so we're gonna need 4 of these total. I actually pulled out 5. And I apologize, I'm clearing my throat again. Oh, a little scratchy today, a little dry. Pretty sure it's my allergies. And if you hear some typing in the background, that is my partner Jerry. His computer room is next to my craft room. And he is playing a video game with his friends, which would probably be more interesting to a lot of viewers than crafting. Alright, so I got this done. We've got these done. We've got 2 little strips here that we're going to be putting on there, along with this. I think we could these backgrounds down first. Use this side of this card because it just looks a little neater than the other side did. And I think we're going to use the giant tape gun instead of glue today. So here is my tape gun. I'm going to move these stamps out of the way because we do not need those right now. Make a little room over here. Actually, make a cute little tower in my blocks. There we go. And I always put too much tape on stuff, but you know, at least it's not going to fall apart. You could probably get away with using a lot less adhesive, but oh well. I'm just going to move the tape gun so it's not blocking the light. Try to center this. There we go. I'm gonna try to do it like this. I hear my daughter talking. She might come down here. Or she might be just yelling at her cat. There we go again. Bit of tape down. Try to get this nice and centered. A little piece of fuzz off of it there. Yeah, I always get these a little off center, but it'll be okay. That is good enough, I think. Still have these little eraser shavings everywhere from that stupid eraser that did not even work. Move that off to the side so it doesn't make me angry. We're gonna just try to smooth these edges a little. This is an adhesive remover, but I've noticed sometimes when I get the jagged little edges, it's just got just enough grit to smooth those jagged edges down a little. And I'm sure there's better ways to do it, but that's just what I have handy and nearby, so that's how I do it. So I really like the colors of this paper. I like the Sundance, blue green, pink, very spring-like, which is nice to think about in the middle of January. Here we go. Card number 3. Now for our last card for this set, card number 4. Actually, I think that little dent is where I had my paper clip. So I've been working on this card kit for over a week now. I keep putting it aside and coming back to it. I want to get it finished. There was a lot of stamping in this one, so it's pretty time consuming. So I kept setting my pieces aside, saying, "Oh, I'll get back to it. I'll get back to it." And I think now I just need to finally finish it up. This is card number 2 out of 4 in the kit. So after I finish these 4, I still have 8 more left to make, 2 more designs. And I looked ahead in the instruction book, and the next designs have a lot of stamping too. So there is our 4 cards. Now, when we look at our instructions, we're going to have to draw this dotted line on these strips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper and make sure my gel pen is going to work the way I want it to. Now this is a really old one. This gel pen is, I think Archivers closed in 2013. So this gel pen's probably going on 10 years old almost. So it is an old gel pen. Squiggle a little with it. Make sure it's nice and flowing well. I'd actually like to find a blacker. See, it doesn't tell you what color it is on there. And this one, let's see if this one works. And this one's not working as well, and this is a newer gel pen that's not working as well as the 10-year-old gel pen. Which is kind of funny. Not haha funny, but oh, I think I'm gonna cry because I spent more money on this pen and it doesn't work right. Funny. Let's see, that one's, I really have to, there we go. I think these might be in the same color almost. Yeah, actually I think this one has more sparkle to it. Yeah, I like how the bottom one looks a little better. I think that'll look a little better as our dotted line. So we could take our little strips. I'm actually gonna grab a bigger piece of scrap paper to work on here. Oops. There we go. A little clipboard, as you can tell. I've used this for scrap paper in the past. And this paper, 2 different colors. I think I kind of like the darker color. I'm just going to make sure that the colors on the top match the colors on the bottom. Let's see if we could gently work out that little crease where the paper clip was. There we go. That one's all fixed. Just gently work that out. Nice and straight. You can still see a little bit where the paper clip was, but it's not going to be very noticeable. Now we're going to get our bottom strips out too. I just have a big jug where I keep a rubber band in my paper clips. I don't know why I need this many paper clips, but I won't run out, that's for sure. Sticky notes, throw them away. I mark everything with the sticky notes when I do all the cutting, so I don't lose my pieces and I know exactly what I need to work with. Just straighten these out. There we go. And I don't know, I think when we're done with these, instead of using the tape runner, we're probably going to use liquid glue to glue these to the card. But we'll worry about that step when we get to it. I want to finish this kit today because I've got some new Disney paper and I started making a mini album with it. But I really need to finish this kit so I don't lose the pieces. So we're going to try to finish this one up. And then I want to work on my Disney album. Okay, so when I look at my guide, they have theirs the top or the bottom. So we're going to go slow and try not to make any mistakes. I apologize if the top of my head gets in the way, but you know what? Actually, we're going to plug in another lamp. That will make this easier. I've got another little hot light over here I could plug in from the other side of the camera. And I think having more light would be very beneficial. I'm trying to do this. Just gonna plug in my little light real quick. And I'm actually gonna switch out my drink. Went to McDonald's this morning and got some iced tea. I really like their unsweetened iced tea. It just seems to taste better from McDonald's than it does when you buy the jugs. Let's turn on this other light. Uh-oh. Light did not turn on yet. There we go. Okay, now we have more light. Now we're going to try not to mess up on our little dashes. So when I first started this technique on another card kit, I thought, oh, this is going to look terrible. I'm not going to be able to do it straight. It's just going to look messy. And I will say I did not do it straight, but it did not look terrible. It actually ends up looking pretty cute. And then I've tried to do the same thing with stamps, but it is even harder to do this with stamps for me because I never managed to line them up straight. So I'm just going to keep doing our little stitches. I hope my head's not in the way too much. Try to get them kind of evenly apart, but who knows? You just gotta keep going slow and try to get them straight with the edge. Not worry too much if they come out a little wonky, just keep going. Just slowly get them all done. Keep going. This is one of the more time-consuming parts of these card kits. And you have to do something like this 8 times. And I have really bad ADD, so doing something repetitive like this, I really had to stop and force myself to finish it because I just want to toss this aside and work on something more exciting. Oh, we've got one done. Make sure we've got the darker side up on all of these. Okay, let's do the next one. I'm just gonna keep going. I know you could probably hear Jerry over there typing in the background. He is playing EverQuest with his friends. I think he is trying to help them finish a quest. But who knows? What I do appreciate is he is trying to be fairly quiet because he knows I'm trying to do the live stream for my crafts. So he's actually not talking to his friends on the headset like he usually would be. He's got some very chatty friends he usually talks to. I'm just gonna keep going. Keep doing these dashes. If anybody joins me and they're chatting, I apologize. It's trying to keep focused on getting these dashes done, so I'm not really looking up very often. There we go. We've got 2 done without any major mistakes. Let's see if we can get number 3 done. So this card kit is kind of like a spring Easter looking card kit. The sentiments on it aren't Easter. They're just, there's thanks a bunch. And then there's one that's kind of sad that says, in every garden, a little rain must fall. So they're not really Easter sentiments, but they are spring themed cards. I just really liked the colors. I like doing these card kits. They're kind of relaxing. It's almost like putting together a puzzle with paper instead of puzzle pieces. And then sometimes you learn new techniques for using your craft supplies while you do these kits. Like, I can't show you right now, but the card before this in the kit, it has grass on it. This one has grass on it too. But they had you sponge green ink with a little sponge on the bottom before you stamp the grass. So you get like a little halo of green behind your grass. And I'd never done that technique before, and I actually rather liked it. And I'll have to find other ways to use it, because it did have a really pretty effect. I really liked it. But so I'd opened this one up because I've been waiting for some of my orders from the big sale to come in. So I opened this up and I started it during a virtual crop last week because I wasn't feeling very crafty. And you know, the kit, you don't have to feel very crafty to cut the paper and get something done. So I started it, I had half the pieces out, and I set it aside when I started feeling more crafty. And I did some layouts and stuff for the virtual crop. But I had all these pieces in my little bin, and I was worried I was going to start losing pieces, so I really just need to finish these cards before I misplace anything. And it turns out I did already misplace one piece from this kit. So at the top of the 12 by 12 papers from Close to My Heart, they have a little strip. And it's usually the strip that would have a barcode on it if you were buying it in a store. Because, you know, when you scrapbook, most pages are 12 by 12. So if they want to put a barcode on, and they don't want to put a sticker on and potentially ruin some of the paper, they add a little 1/2 inch strip at the top that has a barcode, so it can be scanned. Well, Close to My Heart, you don't sell in retail stores. You had to buy it from the website. And I have a website that you could buy stuff from if anybody ever gets interested. But being the website, they don't have barcodes. So what they did instead, you still have that little 1/2 inch strip at the top, but one side of your 1/2 inch strip on the Close to My Heart papers has a unique design that matches the paper. And, excuse me, when I cut my pattern paper, I misplaced one of those 1/2 inch strips that I will need later in my project. And I looked I actually spent a fair bit of time this weekend cleaning out my craft room. Could not find one of those little 1/2-inch strips. So when I get to that step, I found some yellow paper in my craft room scrapbook hoard. That's yellow, kind of goes with the theme of the card. So 2 of my cards are going to be unique from others from this kit because I had to substitute out some different paper because I lost that itty bitty little strip. And that was when I realized, okay, I really need to finish these cards before I lose anything else. Because, you know, I paid for the kit, and the kit was, I think they're about $30. Which at first you're like, oh my god, $30 and you're only making 12 or 16 cards. But then you realize for the $30 you're also getting a stamp kit. You get a little stamp set with dies. So the stamp set alone with dies are usually between $20 and $25. So then it's like, okay, well for the $30 you pay for the kit, you get your stamp kit, you get some papers, and then, you know, you get instructions to put it together. So that's how I justify the cost to myself. We all do mental gymnastics from time to time to justify our purchases, and that is one of mine. It's a cute stamp set. You have to buy the kit to get the stamp set. Might as well get the stamp set, papers, and do the kit. Well, there's been many times where I bought these kits and I just ignore the instructions and go my own direction. But lately I've been trying to follow the instructions for the most part because they teach you the new techniques. And I found that by doing more of the kits, when I go off on my own to do my own thing, I kind of remember the stuff that we did and how much use you get out of one piece of paper by following their instructions because it's very planned out. So they tell you exactly what to cut. So then it gives you ideas in your own mind later when you're off on your own. If I cut it like this, you know, I could get X amount of things out of it, and I don't need to cut a huge strip. I could cut just a small strip. So, yeah, it helps. It's a learning experience. It's been enjoyable. Look at that, we're almost done. 2 more. Well, so look at that, we've got something on this. And then it's our dark side. What are we going to do about these little dots? Try the adhesive eraser first. No, that did nothing. We're just gonna have to live with the little dots on there. Or we can make one unique one where we do the light side just for one card. Let's do that. Let's just do the light side for one card. My hands are just a little shaky because I'm trying so hard to focus and not mess this up. I did my first Twitch stream last week. I do a lot of crafting. It is how I like to spend my free time, and I find it very relaxing. It really helps with my stress levels, and I like that feeling of accomplishment you get from making something. So I was talking to my daughter last week, and I will be honest, I do want to sell craft supplies eventually to people, but I kind of realistic. I mean, it's going to be very hard to find people who don't have something that they buy from already. And then I am not a pushy person. I can't just shove things down people's throat and like guilt them into buying stuff. So I was talking to her, and she told me that I should try live streaming on Twitch. She said there's other people that do it. I'm already crafting anyways. If I make the video, I could live stream it on Twitch, and then I could take the video they make on Twitch and later put it on YouTube, and maybe people will, you know, find me like that, and maybe there'll be people that haven't bought stuff already that will want to buy stuff. So I decided to go ahead and give it a try. Yeah, I'd be crafting anyways. Usually I'd have the TV on in the background, but I wouldn't be paying attention to it. It'd be just like background noise for me. And I'm not sure how Twitch works. I don't know if I would get in trouble like the copyright police if I had the radio or something on in the background. I just don't want to cause myself any trouble in the future. And I would like to be able to put these on YouTube later. I know of YouTube. I put a little video up that I made on TikTok. So that was another suggestion, make little videos on TikTok and then put them on a YouTube page just so you have more content. I put one up and I used one of the sounds from TikTok on it, where you just click and it puts music on your stuff. And I got a copyright warning on YouTube for the TikTok sound. So I want to avoid that in the future. So I don't know if it's okay to have like the TV going in the background or, listen to music or whatever. I guess I'll have to look into that. So I'm not sure if people enjoy listening to me just kind of rattle on. And I am not the most talkative person to begin with. So this streaming line of chatter does not come natural to me. Maybe it'll get easier. It's like when you first have a baby and they tell you, babies learn from listening to you talk, so just talk about what you're doing in the moment. That's basically what I'm trying to do now, just talk about what I'm doing. Okay, we've got all our lines drawn. So let's look at how this is gonna look. Again, let's move our scrap paper over. Here is our instructions. Let's use this as our prototype. Oh, see, I didn't stamp my bird yet. I'm supposed to stamp. I don't really like how that bird looks. I don't think anybody will notice if I don't put the bird on my card. So we're gonna do that. And I want to give that gel pen a little bit of time to dry so we don't smear it, because that's another thing I've done. I try to touch stuff too soon, then smear it. I think these two were the first ones we did, so they've had the longest to dry. So I'm gonna put that there. I'm gonna flip this one over and go here. So even though my stuff's not perfect, I think it adds a little character. I think what we're gonna say is it adds a little bit of whimsy. I like how that sounds, some whimsy. And then we're gonna take, that will go there. These wooden hearts. One of the other cards, it had me take the sponge color on the wooden heart. Actually, see how that color came out? I like that. I kind of like to do it on this one too, but then we have to wait for it to dry, and it's more opportunity to smudge stuff. Not sure which hearts these are that they used for this step. It's that big heart, one of these little hearts. I don't know, I think it looks okay without the bird. If anybody out there has an opinion, I would love to hear it, bird or no bird. And then this one I did make a mistake when I was stamping. So when they did their flower in here, they inked up their stamp, they stamped it on scrap paper, and then they brought it back in. I tried to just do it regular because when I inked off and brought it back in, it was so faint you couldn't see it, so you can't see the little dots. And then in this one, I accidentally made one flower out of green. And I have a couple extras, so we don't need to use the oopsie one on this one. Use one of these others. It has a black splotch on it, but we will survive, we'll persevere. It will be okay. Maybe we'll even put the sign over the splotch and hide it. Okay, so I have a little tool. Maybe we'll try to use this little tool. And I got this, I don't even remember when I got this. I think I got this a long time ago. This little tea thing. So I'm hoping if we use this, I'm hoping you can see that. Take our card. So 1/4 of an inch from the top is where we put 1 1/4 of an inch from the top. So if we flip this over, and I come up here, 1 1/4 of an inch would be right here. So if this is straight, and my card's straight, I should be able to lay this down just like this and get it on my card straight and not crooked and wonky like everything else I do in life. So I cannot get stuff on straight. You know a card is from me when it's a little crooked. So let's try it. We're gonna get the obnoxious big tape gun out for this part. Like this. Okay, let's make sure we've got it lined up again. 1 1/4 of an inch. Wait. No. See, I'm measuring wrong. From this end right here, we have to go up 1 inch and 1/4. Because I'm starting at the 1 inch on the mat. So here we go. Make sure it's our card opening, so we want it to be this direction. Seems like a lot of effort to try to make something straight, doesn't it? And watch, we're gonna go through all this effort and still be a little crooked. I just know it. Let's see, was it worth the effort? I don't know. I really don't know. And it does not look like it's even either. It looks like the top has more space than the bottom, so I don't think we're gonna do it like that again. I think we're just gonna eyeball the next one. Okay, so now this strip, I think the tape gun would be frustrating trying to get that lined up on there, so let's do it like this. Let's use the liquid glue. I just refilled this liquid glue a couple days ago, so it's really full. So I've been having a little bit of trouble with too much coming out at a time sometimes. But here we go. See, now I'm getting really shaky because I don't want to mess this up. Try to line it up on there. There we go. Turn it upside down again. We'll try to do this. Oh, too much glue, too much glue. Let's see if we can spread some of that out. Too much glue. Let me see. It's a baby wipe I was using yesterday. Let's just try to get some of that glue off of it. There. So we don't want the glue oozing out. I see how shaky I am again as we try to line this up. Here we go. And we still have a little bit of glue out, but not too bad. All right. So now we've got our little sign. We'll put our sign there. And I think we're actually going to put one heart up there. One like that. And I don't know, should we put this little sign down flat or should we pop it up a little? We could pop it up a little. These hearts are gonna make our card stick up a little. I'm trying to get the lid back in my glue. There we go. So the card's gonna stick up a little in the envelope anyways because of those. So we just use some of these little foam dots on here. And I'm guilty of using too many of these every time I do something too. So let's try to reposition that one a little. Should we only use 2? I think we can get away with only using 2. Okay, we're only going to use 2. Peel the backs off of these. Throw those away. And we're just going to stick them over that little bit of black stuff. And for these, we're going to use glue dots. I have a lot of glue dots in my stash. Well, glue, pretty much you name it, I have a lot of it. So I've been trying to use up these glue dots that I've had for a while. We'll use 2 glue dots on this one here. Oh, we might have room for a 3rd glue dot. Now let's do a 3rd glue dot. That's a big piece of wood. Make sure he doesn't go anywhere. Kind of fold that down so the glue's not showing. And there we go. That's our first little card. All done. And this one, I used 2 different colors of pink. So I got my peach ink pad in. I could show you that one. So I used this peach for the background, and then I used my pink. I don't know where my pink is. There's my pink one. And I used this pink for the little inside. So that one you could see it on. Not like the one I showed you earlier. Not like that one. But let's keep going. That one up there. Let's do our next one. So I don't think we're gonna do all that fussing with the little T thing. I think we're just gonna eyeball this one. Let's try it. Edge down a little. I'll move that little T over. We don't need that on our desk right now. It's just in the way. So we're gonna tape this together. And we're gonna glue it down. Get my fingers in the tape. Alright. I'll try to line up the edge over here. Hopefully that will make it straight. See, now I think I've got too much room on the bottom, but you know what? Some of that tape's already stuck, so this is where it is staying. We'll put this on the bottom. Yeah, that little bit right there bothers me, but we're just gonna leave it alone because nobody's gonna notice. We're always our own harshest critics, and what we fuss and worry about ends up being nothing. Nobody else notices it at all. It's not worth spending the time worrying about. See, I like the tape, the glue. You could slide it over kind of quickly before it sets. So you gotta adjust a little. So now we're gonna grab a sign. We're gonna grab some hearts. I hope we're supposed to use the little hearts in this one. I kind of like. So they have their hearts all in the white space, and they actually have their sign over here a little more too. I just realized I put mine on upside down, but I don't think it matters. Let's pop this guy up again. Put him more off to the side on this one. And he's staying there because he already got stuck down, so it doesn't matter if he's straight or not. The glue's stuck. Put some more glue dots on. So yeah, this is how I typically spend my day off anyways. especially in the winter time when it's kind of cold. Not really doing too much outside. I do have different sizes of glue dots, but I don't feel like digging them out. So we're just going to make do with these, even if a smaller one would have made more sense. Okay, there we go. Card number 2. So here's card 1 and 2. Just slight difference. I think it does look better with the title off to the side a little. Alright, let's move on to card number 3. Being really productive today. The tape gun out. Up. Line that up the best we can. So this time we're going to put it the way they have theirs. They have their stitches on the outsides. So that's how we're going to do our stitches in this one. Slide that over a little. Make that extra glue up the best we can. And then stick it down. Turn it over, and we're going to do the same thing with this strip. Kind of dreading the next card we're going to make, because when I looked ahead in the instructions, it looks like we're stamping right on the card. And I hate stamping right on the card base, because if you make mistakes, you've wasted an entire card base, versus if we made a mistake on here, we just made a mistake on a small strip of paper. But when you do it directly on the card, you can mess up your entire card base. So we'll put this over here. Maybe we'll try to cover that smudge. Then we'll do these 2 parts. This one looks a little crooked to me, but oh well, it'll be okay. Not sure if you could hear it, but Jerry just left the room next to me, which is really, when we bought this house, it had like a dining room and a formal living room. The formal living room is his computer room. The dining room is my craft room. So he got up and he went to go upstairs to do something. He put his headset down, and I could hear his friends talking through the headset from all the way over here. His very talkative friends. So I don't know if you guys could hear that in the background or not, but I definitely can hear it. And sometimes I play at request with them too. It's just my day off, my free time. I don't want to be playing a video game. I want to be doing my crafting. I think I hear his friends actually talking to him. I heard them say his character name over there. Oh, I just heard one of them say a dirty word too, so. There we go. Yeah, this one's definitely a bit crooked. Oh well. It'll be okay. It's a homemade card. It's not a Hallmark card, it's homemade. It's gonna have personality. And that one's personality is a little crooked. Okay, this is our last strip. But yeah, I am already dreading making that next card because when I looked ahead, it looked like we're going to be stamping right on the card base. And with how bad I am with getting smudges on stuff, with getting nervous and making mistakes, so I'm sure we're going to end up with stuff we need to hide on that card. Okay. As straight as I could get this, I think. I think that's good enough. Good enough. Okay, we're going to put our little strip on. Here we go. So another debate I was having with my daughter, she thinks I should be putting my videos in the art category. And I told her, no, I think I belong in the makers crafting. Yeah, this is definitely crafting, and she tries to tell me that no, you know, you're creating art. With the mini albums and why I use like the mixed media and such, that feels more like art. But for the cards, I think this is definitely just crafting. So I think I'm gonna keep myself in the crafting category. And then she said that I also might fit into the ASMR category. And I was like, I don't know about that. That you know, sounds like something completely different. But her thing was, well, you're doing repetitive tasks very carefully and very detailed. And some people find that type of thing relaxing and enjoyable, which is where the ASMR stuff comes in. I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm just going to stick to crafting for now. Maybe we'll branch out and experiment later. And I had accidentally clicked the AMSR channel the other day. I was trying to do a live stream, and I do them on my iPhone. And Jerry had called and it paused my live stream. And I was trying to figure out how to like unpause the live stream, but I had to restart it. When I restarted it, I clicked the wrong category. But I don't think I'm gonna find very many viewers who are into crafty stuff in those other categories. Really, I'm not sure how all of this works yet, to be honest. Just like I'm not sure when the best time of day to do these streams would be. Right now I'm just doing them when it's convenient for me, when I have, you know, some free time to fill during the day. But it might be easier to find like-minded individuals at different times of the day. I just don't know yet. We'll figure it out. All right. Card number 4 is done. So here are the cards we made so far. I think I do like the stitching on the outside versus the inside. I think it more visual space there. That makes it a little more crowded. So I guess they did pick a good design choice when they did that. Okay, we're gonna set these aside. We're gonna clean up a little, and then we're gonna get started on our next set of cards. So let's just, oops, knock my glue down, put that away. Let's put these little hearts away for now, so we don't have too much clutter out on the desk. Baggie, little wood hearts. They're cute, but I worry that they're so thick. If I mail those cards, it's going to cost extra postage because they're so thick. I prefer flatter embellishments for my cards. Okay, this is our next one. So right off, I think I don't have enough of these little signposts. I only have 2 of those left. Look in my scrap container. here. This is where I've been putting the other scraps. I don't really see those. So we might have to stamp some more and get the big shot out and cut a couple more of those frames. I don't know how I see, it's because I've been putting this off. I probably misplaced them. And for this, okay, so there's a lot of pieces. 3A, there's 3D, 3B. Here's 3A, 3B, where's 3C, 3C, here's 3C, do we have 3D, 3D, now we need 3E, that's 4B, here's 3E, now we need 3F, and then 3G, I don't see 3G in here. Uh-oh, this isn't good. No, they're in there. They're tiny, they're in there. Okay, so we have those pieces at least. Oh, then we need 3H. There's even a 3I. I don't have, okay, the 3I, that's those zip strips where I said I made the mistake, so. As you can tell, some of those are gonna be different. So we've got those. And then we need our little signs, and then we're gonna stamp this on the card base, which is going to be exciting. Okay, well, I think first we're gonna tackle our signs there. They're not in here, so these are for the last step. All right, so we're going to use, I hate to say it, but I want to use my stamping tool on those, just to make sure I get them nice and straight. So we're gonna get our little stamp platform out. And then I have this scrap paper here. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna stamp one, flip it over, and stamp the other. And then for this, I'm going to use my VersaFine black. I did order the intense black from Close to My Heart that is supposed to be good for coloring with alcohol markers, but I have not gotten it yet. When I do get it, I'll use it, and maybe I'll make a review video because it'll be my first time using it. Need 2 of these, so we have the 2 we need. So now I'm going to grab a baby wipe to clean the stamp off of. I'm going to clean the stamp off and put that one away. And I think for the sentiment we're going to have to try to use an acrylic block. I don't like using the acrylic blocks because it's easier for them to smear than it is in the stamp tool. But we have some of those little guys that are already cut. I'm not sure how we would line that up in the stamp tool. The stamp tool is good for when you're using, squares of paper like this. For the shapes, it's a little trickier because it's hard to line up. I'm gonna put my baby wipe over the side of my trash can so I don't accidentally put a piece of paper on it. I've ruined many pieces of paper by accidentally setting them on top of a baby wipe. Like I think this one, see how this is all weird? I think that's because I set it on top of the baby wipe that was damp and I ruined my piece of paper. Okay, so we're gonna pull this guy out of here. Put him back where he belongs. And then our sentiment is going to be thanks a bunch. This part, I hate trying to get these straight. We're going to do our pre-cut ones first and give those a little more time to dry. So we're just gonna try to get the best we can in the middle after we ink it up. We can do this. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Worst case scenario, it smears and we just have to make a new one. So let's try to line that up nice and straight. Yeah, I think that looks good enough. Okay, this is our next little victim here. I can't even get it to stay straight on my mat. This is gonna be interesting. All right. Yeah, straight enough. That's good enough for me. And then we're gonna do these two, and then these are gonna need a little bit to dry before I put them through the big shot. Otherwise, the ink will come off on the plates and it'll smear, and we don't want that to happen. So we're gonna set these two aside. That one's the most crooked of the bunch, but even then I don't think it's that bad. Ink aside, we're gonna clean this off with the baby wipe, and then we're gonna let everything dry. We're gonna do these two last. We'll make our first two cards, then we'll come back to those, so it has a long time to dry. So when we put it through the big shot, it doesn't smear the ink. All right. Put our stamp back in our sheet here. Put the foam on so it doesn't get dirty. Okay, so now here's the tricky part. Okay, we'll get our stamp bases out. My hand's a little damp from the baby wipe. I don't want to get these damp. So we've got four card bases here. Clean this area off. There's a little piece of glue there. Get rid of that. And then we're gonna fold these. And again, I don't want to put any. We're gonna move this all the way over there so we don't put anything on that ink. Fold these. Use our bone folder to get that nice and crisp. Putting a little too much pressure, that's why I got that ridge there, but that will be the back of the card. Sometimes I get a little crazy with the bone folder. See, that one I was a little gentler and didn't have that issue. And I am actually gonna take a drink of water here for a second before we start stamping something. One moment. I'm gonna be off screen for a second here. I'm moving some stuff away from the area too, so we, don't mess anything up. All right. So. Alright, take a little bit. I'm actually not drinking water, I'm drinking unsweetened iced tea. Alright, let's get ourselves ready for this. We're going to do a good job. It's going to look beautiful. Not going to stress about it. And I think we're going to pick a different pink color to use too. So this kit used like a sherbet color that they don't sell anymore. So I don't have that color. What I have is I have raspberry and I have peach. So I think we're gonna try the raspberry. Brand new die pad. Always fun to open new supplies and use them. And then where did I put my scrap piece of paper? Scare scrap pieces out. And we're just gonna experiment real quick with this raspberry ink to see if it's what we want to use in our card. If not, I have some Tim Holtz inks we'll experiment with next. So we're trying to match like that color there. Although, see, I use Smoothie, that's one color. But it looks so dark. So those, there's I'll show you. It's easier to show than try to explain. So when we take our stuff, and we know we're gonna have to stamp this daisy flower. So we'll experiment with our daisy flower. And we'll use this little itty bitty stamp pad. So sometimes what they have you do is they have you stamp once, then you get that dark one, and you stamp again, use the lighter one. But this color, this raspberry, this does not go with what we're doing. So we're gonna have to pull out a different color, I think. So we're gonna clean this off. I'm gonna put this raspberry back. And let's see what I have in my Tim Holtz colors. Let's see what we got here. Let's just keep putting stuff away. And I have to go into one of my drawers over here to find the Tim Holtz pads. Let's don't mind the Hobby Lobby sticker still on there. I guess you know I shop at Hobby Lobby. So now we've got some of his colors we could try to match a little better. This worn lipstick might be a good choice. I had my Kitsch Flamingo out already. And I think that's going to be the same problem as the other raspberry. And the Spun Sugar, that might be too light, but I'll give it a try. I don't think Victorian, I think that's too much of a, it looks like a grayish. Alright, so just by judging from here, let's try this worn lipstick first. Let's see how that comes out. You know, I think that's going to be, we could probably use that as the accent color here. But I don't know if we want to use that. Oh, I don't know. When we stamp off, it doesn't look that bad. Maybe we'll just go with worn lipstick. Okay. Don't even try the other two. But we're going to have to stir up our grass first. Let's put this away and put that aside. For our grass, we're going to be using this old Olive from Stampin' Up. It's just a really old stamp pad, but it still works. And when you don't have all the colors, you know, you have to make do with what you got. You don't need to go out and buy everything all at once, even though it's really fun to buy new stuff. Okay, for all my stamp blocks. See, I get so disorganized over here so quickly. Okay, here's the other smaller one. I really wish I had more of these smaller ones. I have like all sizes of these. That's a Close to My Heart one. This is a Stampin' Up one. They all do the same thing. But I wish I had more small ones. I wish I had more like this. That's really handy for the really tiny stamps. Okay, so we're going to do our grass. And I think we're magically going to know what 1/4 of an inch up looks like. This is going to be probably a little frustrating. You know, we're going to peel that one off for now. So we're going to do the grass on all our card bases, and then we're going to come back, we're going to do the stems, and then after we do the stems, we'll work on those flowers. So a lot of stamping. And again, this is kind of why I was dreading finishing this kit, because, you know, I started looking at it and it's like, oh, there's a lot of steps. There's a lot of stamping with multiple stamps. Let me get some of these ink pads out. All right. Get our work area nice and clean here. I never put these on straight, but you just need to line it up right. It'll be okay. Okay. Here's going to be our first try. There is no way mine's going to be even like that. It's just, you know, there is one thing we could try. I could get like a sticky note. If we can line the sticky note up straight, this becomes even more difficult. You know, trying to get this straight at a quarter of an inch. Is that a quarter of an inch? Let's try this. Okay, let's get overly complicated. Take our little T-square out. Like, this is putting way too much thought into something right now. We're gonna take our little T-square out. We're gonna line this up. And we're gonna say, okay, quarter of an inch. It's gonna be right here. Now, hold that straight. Now I could try to put a sticky note down. Just mask that area off. Now when we stamp, it should be a quarter of an inch up because we'll pull the sticky note off. And then we'll see if this overcomplicated way of doing it works. Yeah, I'm not sure how far over we go with this. Like, it doesn't tell you. You'd have to add all these fractions to know how far over you're going. And I don't want to glue all of those down first. So we're just gonna guess. 'Cause I don't think that's exactly in the center. Maybe it is in the center. You know what? We're just gonna do where our sticky note is. And if we have too much grass, we have too much grass. So here we go. My old ink pad. And then I like to start from this side and go in. So we'll do 2 tall grasses. Then we'll do a short grass. One, he's lighter than the other one. I don't like that, but feeling if we try to do this, it's not going to look right. Why am I doing this? We tried. He's blurry. See, that's why I don't like working right on the card base. I should actually have my foam under me too. The foam will help get clearer stamps. But you know what? We started this. We're going to roll with it. And then we're not quite at a 1/4 of an inch on this side, but at least that's kind of straight, right? Okay, let's try this again. And you know what we'll do? We will mask off our 3 remaining cards all at the same time so that we don't have to keep switching stuff out here. Hand off. Okay, let's do our overly complex process here with these 3. So we're gonna want 3 sticky notes. Okay, we're gonna put our card here. Line it up straight as we can. Put our little T thing at a 1/4 of an inch. Hope that's straight. Think it's straight. And actually, no, we want to put it up here because we're going to put our sticky note under it. See, that should be straight, but to me it doesn't look straight, but we're just going to trust it. We're just going to put our sticky note. Okay, that is how that one will be masked. Let's do the next one. This is the part these parts are really kind of time consuming, not constraining. And it is not the most exciting doing this over and over again, is it? And I don't want to reuse the one I used in the first card because I'm afraid there's some wet ink on it and we might get a splotch on our next card. So we're just going to use 4 different sticky pads. move our instructions over for a minute. They usually do videos of these workshops. If you watch the videos, they usually have like little tips and stuff that they use. Unfortunately, this is an older workshop, so I could not find the video for it anywhere to watch. So we're just kind of winging it by ourselves. Alright, there we go. Okay, so now we have 3 cards that are masked. We're going to move that, and we're going to try to do a better job on this one. So we're going to put the foam down. We got our blocks back. We got our other cards that are ready to be stamped over there. Alright. Try to do nice, even pressure. Made a mistake right there. That is because I pushed this too far down on the block and get extra ink on it. We're going to keep going. We're just going to have to cover that up with something. And this one I'm really far down on. So this grass is going to look taller. This is why I hate stamping in the card bases. If I was just stamping on a little strip of paper, easy enough to get rid of that, but nope. I have a stamping right on the card base. Okay, we're gonna put that one aside. That's a little frustrating. And we've got that green mark. And then I'm trying to, when I ink these, I'm inking them off to the side over here, so hopefully I get less extra ink in the block. And I think when you use the smaller blocks, you have less of a likelihood to get the extra ink on like that. But I don't want to pull these off each time I want to switch them, and I only have one itty bitty block, so I'm just going to keep going here. Alright, here's our last grassy part. I know that's more than 1/4 of an inch space there, but you know what, it'll be okay. So we've got our grassy part done. Next we're going to do these stems. So we're going to move that out of the way, take the baby wipe these off. Put these back on our stamp sheet. Okay, so we're going to look at this one more time. So we do use 2 different stems here. We're using a lot of this big one. I'll put him on that one. And then we're using one little one, it looks like. Okay, so that didn't pick up as much ink as I would like it to. I guess I didn't push it down hard enough. So that one seems to have inked better. And then we're going to do, actually I'm going to move this closer to the side of the ink block. Okay. guess we could have left the mask on this one longer, but now we're going to start on this side. So we have two different mistakes on two different cards here. Not a very good track record for this set, I will say. Trying not to set those on top of each other as I move them off the screen so we don't get smudges on the back. All right. This is our last one for this step. Oh, I'm still so upset about that. Might have to try that eraser thing again. Maybe this time the eraser will work. Although it's the same color. Same problem. That's what happened on that other card that I was trying to fix earlier. On the side of the ink block. And I've like looked online to see what other people do when they make mistakes like that. And basically I found that most people just try to hide it. So maybe when we put these strips on, we'll line the strips up to hide that. Okay, so that is our green part. I think we are done with the green for now. So first we're gonna close up this. I hate these old Stampin' Up ones because I've pinched my finger in there before. That is something I do like about the Close to My Heart cases. Because if you look at this first, this is another thing I like. Look at that. They're magnetic, so they stick together. So they're easier to pick up and stuff. And then these, I like how you lift it off like that and then magnets back together. Although I guess you might not see, you don't really get your finger stuck in there like you do the Stampin' Up one. That Stampin' Up one, it has hurt me before. Okay, so we're gonna wipe off our blocks here. Grab our baby wipe. And these are just alcohol-free baby wipes from the dollar store. Nothing fancy. I have I actually have a couple of the fancy stamp cleaners, but I've had issues with those because you have to keep them wet, and I'm not good with keeping wet stuff on my desk. It is a good way for me to ruin something, I'll tell you that. I think we could actually get rid of our masks now too. We're just gonna toss those out. Get that off the desk. And then the next two things we're going to work with. There's actually three things, but we're gonna do 2 at a time. So we're gonna do those flowers, and we're gonna do those little circles. We're gonna put this circle on here. Actually, you know, we're gonna do these one at a time. And we're gonna use the small block so we don't mess up as much. And we need to bring a piece of scrap paper back over here. Because we're gonna dip it in the ink, we're gonna stamp it on here, and then we're gonna stamp it on there to get that faded color. All right. And then 1, 2, 3, we just put one of these on each stem. So we get that there, put it there. Yeah. That's really light, but we'll see. Sometimes these dry a lot darker than you think they would. Okay. Well, we're going to leave it alone. We're not going to fuss about it until it dries. Because a lot of times it looks completely different when it dries. There we go. There we go. There's card number 2. I'm going to do card number 3 here. Holds ink. I don't like to stamp with it because it's this distress ink. It doesn't seem to stamp as uniformly as like the VersaFine, but I have more colors in it because I use it for making backgrounds and for stencils and such. So I have more variety of colors in it than I do the other inks right now. I've ordered some new inks from Close to My Heart, but they have yet to come. Their shipping has been very slow, very disappointing lately. Okay, so we're not gonna get rid of that. We're gonna take this little flower off though, because we're done with this flower. And then next we'll do the little round piece. Dry that off a little. This little round dot. So the instructions have 3 of these round dots in each card. There's number 1. This pink looks really bright right now. Try to line it up with those taller stems. There's number 2. Number 3, and this is our last one. Go there, go here, and we'll go here. Okay, actually, we can't put that pink away yet. We've got one more step to do with the pink. Let's take that little dot off. Back on the sheet, wipe this off. There we go. Not quite exactly what they have in their example, but you know, it is close enough for us. Oh, that one a little off the mark, but we're not going to try to fix that, because if I try to fix it, it's just going to look worse. Just going to leave it alone. Nobody will notice it. Last one. We're almost done with the horrible stamping steps. Yeah. So much stamping in this one. It just makes me so nervous. Alright. That is our pink. We're going to wipe this off. I lost my baby wipe. There it is. Okay. Get that pink off there. Paper towel real quick. We're going to move all these because we're done stamping on this one. So we're going to leave our little stack over here. Move our extra piece there. We've got move it off screen where it's drying. I'm going to put these away actually. Although, wait. I think I have all that stamped already, so I don't think we're going to need pink again. Yeah, I'm going to put the pink away. I have to remember we used worn lipstick if we have to get that out again. Put that off to the side. We're going to move our stamps over. I don't want to put them all the way away because we're going to have to use them again in the next step. going to take these little extra pieces here. We have to make room for our big shot real quick. So we've got 2 things to cut with the big shot. So I'm going to take these, just put them in my little bowl here for my little pieces. I like getting little bins like this from the dollar store just to hold stuff while I'm working. Okay, we're going to move that. I'll put our paper clip away. Move those 2 away. And then now, so we have those that we stamped earlier. They should be dry enough to go through the big shot now. So first we're going to get our die out. Now this set, I think this is complete silliness. It came with all these little things like this. Like I could not figure out for the life of me which rose is which with these little things. I think that's a waste. Just give me one, we'll call it done. But anyways, it came with 4. I guess then, you know, they can say, oh, you get an 8-piece die set instead of just a 4-piece or 5-piece. But to me, it is a waste. Anyways, we're going to move that aside. And I'm going to go off screen for a second. And I'm going to grab my big shot. And then we are going to smush the paper through and cut out our die. So my big shot is a Big Shot Plus. I've had it for quite a few years. It's got lots of scuffs. It's got dirt on it. I think there's tea spilled on it, lint on it. It's well used. You can tell it's a useful tool because of how beat up it is. Okay. Now, you know what, we're going to use a little piece of washi tape just to hold that frame on straight. Just to make sure it doesn't move. So we don't want our frame to look weird. Well, weirder than it already is. Tape that on like that. Just enough to hopefully... See, I think I moved it as I taped it down. There we go. Alright, we're going to send this through the big shot. And then we're going to repeat the process for our other little frame. Frame cut out. Now we're going to do our second one. And you can see how beat up my plates are because I do use my big shot a lot. Throw it away, and I'm going to go put this big shot back where it belongs. And we're going to start making our cards. So I think we're going to start with our mistake piece first. Actually, no, first we're going to put a bunch of the stuff back, so we don't risk losing any pieces. I'm gonna put our dies in here. And this set of stamps and the dies, they came with the card kit. This is why I don't feel guilty about spending $30 on a card kit. Because you get the stamps, you get the dies. And you get the hours of frustration that it takes to actually make the cards. I figured 30 bucks, yeah, that's a lot of entertainment for $30. Okay, so this is what we're going to follow. And we've got our mistake right there. So I don't know how I am going to keep all these little strips straight. Start by taking the paper clips off of them. And usually when I'm making stuff, I don't leave the paper clips on for over a week like I did for these. So that's why they're kind of indented. And that one, I hope I didn't cut my paper right there. And again, it is like putting together a puzzle with paper. So we start with that long blue strip, which is 3A. Maybe we should put these more. 3A, 3B, 3C, 3D. E comes after that, and then we'll do F. So for H goes, G goes with those. H we'll put over here. And then why are we missing? We're missing the unmarked one. This one. That goes with, put those over there. So, and maybe what we'll do is this. There we go. Now we could grab them, but we still know what they are. Look at that. We actually look like we're kind of organized here. Those out. I'm gonna just kind of line these up where we're gonna want to put them. See how it's gonna look first. We got the B. Let's see, because I want to make sure we line these up, and we'll probably glue down that one first. That's gonna hide our mistake there. One will hide that mistake. I actually like the eggs on that one better, so put those eggs down and use this one for the plaid. This pink one right here, and then that little blue guy, he's going to be above the flower, so that doesn't matter too much. So our first problem is, how on earth are we going to get these to look straight? That is going to be our first problem. I'm just trying to straighten down some of these bent up edges here. So these edges are a little rough because when I cut them with my paper trimmer, I wasn't using a brand new blade. The blade was a little dull, so my edges look a little rough. This is just going to be, so this card is going to be frustrating for me because you gotta try to get stuff straight. And so my mat is straight on my desk, right? I got the card lined up in the mat, but I still struggle with getting stuff straight. And there's no way I'm gonna get an even space between those. That's not gonna happen. Okay, you know what? We're just going to do this. We're going to get this card done so we can move on to the final card. straight, not straight. This is where it's going. There we go. First piece down. Then we're going to work out from the sides. Hopefully it's, you know, like reasonably even, but you know what? I'm not going to spend a lot of time fussing over it because I want to move on to something else. So we're just stick this stuff down and move on. Oh, too high up, too high up. It's a little uneven, a little crooked, but you know what? I'm ready to move on. So as far as card kits go, this has not been one of my favorites. I don't like this little frustrating stuff that we're doing right now. We're trying to line stuff up. I don't like all the stamping right on the card. I think it's a pretty design for a card kit, but it's definitely not one of my favorite ones to put together. So I don't think I would buy this one again. The papers were pretty. I thought the stamps were nice. I like the gate die cut that came with it, but I would not want to try to put this together again. And I don't see myself ever going off on my own and making cards like this either, because it's just too frustrating trying to line stuff up, and when you stamp right in the card you make a mistake, you have to throw your entire card base away. So no, I don't regret buying it, but would not buy it again. I'm just going to cover this grass up right here. We're almost done with this first one. So here is another part that's going to frustrate me. They have you cut these little, you cut like a half a triangle into it. I don't know what they call it. You dovetail it. That's the technical term. And mine always don't look right. Mine always look a little off. But I've come to realize nobody even notices. So we're going to grab our little scissors. Now some people say you can like squeeze the sides together to do this. But I found that sometimes that wrinkles your cardstock permanently. So just going to do that. One more. I'm sure there's like a quick and easy way to do this right every time, but I don't know it. I've seen some people use the edge of a square paper punch. I tried that and I just found it to be frustrating too. That did not work for me. So I just do it like this the best I can. I did that wrong too. So I know what I did wrong here. So this should be cut in half. I don't know if I can fix that, because when we put this in the paper cutter, you know what, we'll try. This worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is I just cut another piece of the yellow to use. But look, if you try to put this in the paper cutter, you try to cut that in half, it's so hard to get it straight. So when I thought I lost a piece, I don't think I actually lost a piece. I think what happened was you're supposed to cut these at 1/4 of an inch, and I cut them at 1/2 of an inch. So got that to work. Let's see if we can get the other one to work. So 1/4. I could probably like tape that down with some washi tape, but we're just gonna go with it. It's a little uneven. It's just a little uneven. There we go. Good enough for what we are doing. Put the paper trimmer away. Okay, so now it should look like this. And then this one, I don't know how we're gonna fix that. Now that one's cut the wrong way. Maybe we'll just do it upside down in the next one. So we're gonna tape these down like this. Actually, I think we're gonna glue these. See, that one's a little crooked. I try to fix it and I make it worse. Alright, so we're gonna glue these down. Like that. Let's glue this one first. I don't want to put too much glue because then it'll squeege all over, be messy. Oh, you know, just enough to hold it down. I hate how crooked that one looks now. That's really bothering me. And he's really kind of off to the side, isn't he? And then we're gonna glue this one down right under him. Yeah, I knew these strips were gonna be a challenge, so I'm not surprised. Here we go. And the next step will be adding one of those. And then hearts. Now this outline heart, that is not going to be easy to get on there. And that one's really big. I think we need... So that's going to be frustrating because you have such a small surface to glue. I think we're going to pop that up again. Trying to use up these really old 3D spots. Got these from Stampin' Up! A long time ago. And then we're gonna figure out how we're gonna do this frustrating one. I think the art glitter glue should hold it. It's just, I have a feeling it's gonna be messy. I'm trying to do little itty bitty dabs. And then you worry that you don't have enough glue on there. Okay, that's gonna be, no! Okay. There we go. And that one we're going to use a glue dot on. Actually, these aren't glue dots, these are Zots. I think there's a competitor to glue dots. Same thing, different name. Stick this on here. Alright, so I don't want to lift this one too much because I want that glue to set, but that is our first card. We made some oopsies on it, but you know, still looks okay. That's good enough. Okay, so now let's do the second card. Got 3 more of these to make. Oh my goodness. And this one, I did not mess up over here. I don't have anything to hide, so we're just gonna glue it in order. Try to make it straight. Straight as we can, right? Sometimes it seems like the harder I try to make things straight, the more crooked they end up. So now I think I took 2 from that pile on the last card, so we're gonna take an extra one from the other pile. I mean, I think it's a cute idea with the strips. If you have scrap paper, this would be a good way to use up scraps. But getting them straight. Alright, let's look at our patterns here. That's a cute one. I have this little sander block. Let's hit the sander block. Fixes those rough edges. I'm not sure that really made much of a difference. I think we just need to stop worrying about the little rough edges. And just glue it down. Glue it down and move along. Trying to put just enough glue to hold it down, but not enough where it's going to make a mess. So I had to say I'll be happy when I'm done with this card kit. I hate to say it, but I'm kind of bored with it. And I think next, I'm not going to start another card kit right away. I'm going to do a scrapbook project next, just to do something different. I have that mini album I want to do with the Disney paper. Looking forward to that. Okay, so now this is the piece that we need to dovetail. Oops, see the little arm that holds my phone. Try not to cut my fingers off here. That would probably not be good. That one actually came out good. That one came out nice. And this is one where it's, I think we're just going to put it on upside down. See this little bit of color on there? That's because the zip strip, I didn't cut it exactly at 1/4 of an inch. So it's a little bit of the pattern from the paper showing through. So we'll try to cut those little colors off so they're not so distracting. Although I think this is just gonna be a waste of time. We probably should just glue this down and moved on. Just trying to get that little bit of the darker color off. There we go. You can still see some down here. Let's see if we can snip more of that cut off. Scraps. All right, here we go. Cut this little fuzzy piece off if we can. There we go. All right, so the scraps moved. Glue this one down first. And then we're gonna glue this one on top. So we're flipping the design here because I had cut that wrong. So this one's just gonna be a little different from the others. This card's gonna be doing its own thing. Alright, let's try to get this on here straight. Straight as we can at least. Stay down. I think we need to get a little bit of glue right there. Now it should stay down. Oh, I got a smudge. Okay, let's see if our adhesive eraser can help with that little smudge. And the other thing that's hard is when you're working with ink and then you work with the white cards. Yeah, see, we got a smudge there. Oh well. I'm gonna take a second and try to clean my hands off a little with some hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer helps get some of that ink off. So what I'll do is I'll get my hands wet with that, and then I'll use some paper towel to help get it off. So hopefully we don't get very many more smudges. All right. Thanks a bunch. We'll go over here. Oh, I hate that smudge. That's really gonna bother me. And this, I need to cut some of that off. So this is where it's got an adhesive off in the past. So you just cut those bad areas off and then you can keep using this. trim that off like that. That's good enough for now. Let's get all these little pieces off our mat. Go. Okay. We'll take that corner we just cleaned. That actually, cleaning the corner up, look at that, that worked. We're good now. We get our little glue smudge off. I think that'll help down here. No, it's not going to get those little smudges off there, but those were tiny. Okay, so where did I put my dots? Pop this little guy up a little. Put him right there. And now we're gonna do the frustrating step of gluing down the heart. Really tiny hearts. Looks like we're gonna have a lot of hearts left over from this project, which is nice. Use those on some scrapbook pages where it doesn't matter that they're kind of poofy. I'm gonna clean this tip off a little. Some of that extra glue off. There we go. Okay. That's gonna smudge right there, that big dot. Just try to do little itty bitty tiny dots with glue. That one's a really big dot too. No, see, it stuck to my finger. Oh. The good news is the art glitter glue, I have the dries clear kind, so hopefully you won't be able to see those glue smudges after it dries. Okay, let's put our stopper in. So this card set here, we've been doing this for 2 hours. If you combine that with the time I spent cutting the first day and the second day, and then the first and second sets of cards, I want to say this is at least 8 hours of work to complete the entire kit. And the more I think about it, the more I think that sounds like a long bunch of time to spend on a few cards. Alright, so we're going to put that one aside in our finished pile. And we're going to start on our next one. Alright, I'm going to move these scissors so I don't stab myself with them. Oh, I'm glad I solved the mystery of my missing zip strip. And I read the instructions. Okay, see, that's where I went wrong. Into 2 1/4 inch strips first. What I did was I looked at those measurements and I just cut the 1/2 and thought I was done and thought I missed one. Yeah, that's where it went wrong. Okay, moving on. Hopefully that's straight. Move on to the next one. I just want to kind of zip through this one because I am so done with this card design. I'm ready to move on to something else. but I want to finish this. I don't want to lose my pieces, so oh, not good. I'm just going to keep going till we're done. I think the scrapbook kits are definitely more fun to do, but their scrapbook kits typically do not include a stamp set. So you make usually 3 layouts in a scrapbook kit, and they give you enough supplies to make 3 layouts, but you don't get a stamp kit you get to keep later. And I do like these little stamp kits. Like I could see myself using the brass again from this one, and I could see myself reusing that gate die cut. Put a little bunny behind the gate like somebody suggested, and oh, that'd be so cute. One of my viewers the other day suggested putting the bunny behind the gate. And I don't have a bunny stamp the right size right now, but I am going to be on the lookout for one. Close to my heart, we'll have their Easter stuff out in the next catalog. The next catalog is for March and April. I'm hoping that there's a bunny in there. If not, I think there's probably a Kiwi Lane bunny I could use, but I prefer a cute little stamped one. I have a lot of the Kiwi Lane stuff and I enjoy it, but sometimes because it's just stencils that you're cutting out, it doesn't look as finished as the stamps do. I like how finished the stamp stuff looks. Oh, we're going to have to cover up our little thing right here. I guess I probably could have put these a little closer together, but it's not the end of the world. One more strip to do. And I think we're going to glue down our last set of strips before we finish this card. So we're going to set this aside. We're going to get out our other card base and glue everything down before I switch over to the other stuff. So we're going to set that aside. We're going to pull this one out. We're going to glue down these strips, and then we'll go back and do the last couple steps on both these cards. That way we have all this out of the way. I can throw all these Post-it notes away. I use a lot of Post-it notes. I just use the sticky notes from the dollar store. Sometimes they have them in really cute colors at the dollar store. Some of the glue seeped out from the side, but that should dry clear. It shouldn't be an issue. Make sure we've got the light side up on this one. Feels kind of satisfying to use up the last piece in each of these piles too. And we'll say that. Look, I have my card straight now. Everything's a little askew on this one. This will be our last egg piece. You stop messing with that and just move on. again, unfortunately. See, I should have moved those all over a little. We would have had enough room, but too late. Gluing it down, moving on. Little strip. It took forever to cut all these little strips too. I mean, this a lot of cutting, a lot of measuring, and a lot of stamping in this kit. If you have some time to kill, this would be a good kit for that because it was definitely time consuming. Alright, let's throw these little guys away. And we need to dovetail those. Last two pieces out. Last two strips. So let's do the dovetailing of these first. I'm going to do them one at a time because there's no way I would cut them okay trying to double them up. So slip there. Yeah. Oh well, it'll be okay. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Okay, now this one. See, we have that problem with the strip there, but maybe we'll try to tuck that down under the other one. Or maybe we'll just try to cut it off. Let's try to cut it off. I've been debating buying a new paper cutter because I think mine is so old that, and it's moved with me twice now, and I've taken it to so many crops. It's been dropped, it's been, you know, abused. I think it might be time for me to replace it soon. Try to get that extra cover off here. Here we go. These extra scraps off. And then we're gonna just take a slant on this one. Yep, that's the direction we want it in. Alright, now we're going to glue this down. Flip that over. Looks like I did everything in this card on a slant. That's kind of funny. In the glue. I'm going to have to wash my hand off real quick after we put this piece down. See, when I tried to cut that, I cut this a little crooked. I should have just left it alone. It was fine. Oh well. The entire thing looks a little wonky now. I don't think I can fix this. Pull it up real quick. Okay. a little bitty bit off this end. That should line up a little better. And we'll put a little more glue on. There we go. That way, well, see, we're still a little too big here. But that's closer. That's good enough, I think. There we go. Okay, now we'll put our little sign on. So we're running out of those little dots, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna use the edging. And that should be enough to It would have been funny if we put this on upside down. Okay. Now we're gonna finish the top of this one and then we'll go back and do those tricky little hearts. You know, I think we're gonna try to sneak the scissors in here and snip it. There we go. And do our last little sign. Let's put this. The hardest part is getting the pin in there. Now I think after I finish these, I'm gonna take a little break, turn the stream off for a little bit, get a snack, and then come back and do the last one, the last card. I think I need a small little break before I start that last card. It's taken us about 2 hours to make 8 of these. A bit over 2 hours to make 8 of these. Alright, let's take this. Plus I have a dog walking around by the back door. I think the dog wants to go outside for a few minutes. So I'll take a break, give her a little potty break, and then come back and finish up this kit. Her and they're drinking something now. We don't want her to have an accident. She's an older dog. So And I think FedEx just pulled up a package for me too, which is always exciting. But if he knocks on the door, rings the doorbell, and he's delivering that package, the dog will start barking. So, okay, that is our 4th card in this series. Let's put the lid on the glue before we forget about it. So we've done those 4, and then we also did this 4. That was a lot of work, and we had already had this stamping done and that done, so it took a while just to assemble these. So I am going to take a little bit of a break, clean up the mess from these cards, and then when I come back, we'll go ahead and do the last card. Thank you for joining me.